Okay, good morning. Today is the regularly scheduled, oh, sorry, I stole your, here, let me switch that because I wrote on this one. Today is the regularly scheduled meeting of the Board of Selectmen. It is 8:30 and before you have today's agenda. I have two edits to request on this agenda. The first being to remove item 20, the waiving ADA project. There were some questions that came in late, and so want to have time to, fully be able to research and get those questions answered. So we'll move that to next week's agenda, and then would like to add, I guess it would be a new item 27 since everything's shifting up. Approval for a wastewater treatment emergency generator repair. Could I get a motion to approve those amendments?
So moved.
Second. It's unanimous. And can I get a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
So moved.
Second. It's unanimous. Thank you. You have the minutes from our regularly scheduled meeting on August 20th. Do I have any additions or corrections you'd like to make?
No.
Okay. Okay. Could I get a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Okay. It's unanimous. Thank you. Public comments. Members of the public are welcome to provide comments to the Board of Selectmen on agenda topics scheduled for review and or vote. Comments submitted electronically should be sent to the following email address: bosdistribution@newcanaanct.gov. Is anyone wishing to make public comment? Okay, moving on. Fire Department, Albie. Chief Bassett, sorry.
Good morning, all.
Good morning.
The fire department would like the approval to spend $16,000 with MES fire equipment for our annual service on extrication tools and equipment. And that was the purchase of new hoses also. Do them one at a time, I assume.
Yeah.
No problem.
Doing the second one.
Okay, are there any?
So he represented the first one. Now, or any questions on the first one? I guess.
Yeah.
No question. So Albie, what about the second one? Is there a second?
Oh, the second.
That's a separate
budget.
You got to do them one at a time.
Oh, I'm sorry. So the first and second on the, there's only two here. Sorry. So you've got the first one is 16,000 for the fire equipment and then 25,000 for the.
So that's a second agenda.
One. Okay. All right. So one at a time.
So let's do the first one. Are there any questions on the fire equipment? The 16,000 for the fire equipment?
No.
Seeing none, could I get a motion to approve a request from the fire department for annual service on extrication tools and equipment purchases with MES fire equipment in the amount not to exceed $16,000?
So moved.
It's unanimous. Thank you. And then go ahead.
Second is a request for the approval to spend up to $25,000 with the Commission on Fire Prevention Control, aka the Connecticut Fire Academy, for firefighter training.
Are you charged per person going to the training?
For yes, basically yes. For the recruit class, it's roughly just under $8,000 a piece for recruit, and then various classes have different price per student.
Okay, so current firefighters go for classes as well.
Possibly, yes. Yeah,
Okay, so
but this is the majority of this is 3 people going to recruit class in the FY25.
Okay, great.
All right. Any other questions?
Glad you have the recruits.
What's that?
Glad you have the recruits. All right. Motion.
Yes. Could I get a motion to approve a request from the fire department to spend $25,000 with the Commission on Fire Prevention and Control, Connecticut Fire, for firefighting training?
So
That's
moved.
a lot of F's.
So moved.
It's unanimous.
Thanks.
Thank you. Sorry about that, Albie. All right, moving on to agenda item 6. Captain Faranga. Good morning.
Just here to request to spend money we need for, with Telrepco, $11,529 for additional body cameras, the software that goes with it, and the mobile data terminals for our cars. And then also $14,190 for Motorola Solutions to buy portable radios and the accessories.
All right. Anyone have any questions? I feel like we're constantly, is this for the new, it says 4 body cameras. Is this replacing old cameras or is this?
It's a
for-
combination of that and increasing our inventory because we had X amount of extras, but those are now being assigned to the new officers. So we just have
Okay.
to make sure we have a few, should any fail
Okay.
or being repaired, the officers have a replacement. Same with the portables, but the portables, they have a shelf life and some of them we have some that are just out of service. And then we've exhausted all of our extra with the new hires, so we need to get some more. And just a point of note, Motorola, they're still experiencing manufacturing delays. So we've been waiting, I think about 6 months for some radios we ordered a while ago for the cars that still aren't here yet. And then there's a delay with these as well, but we want to get the order in so we can get it going.
Kind of a monopoly. They ought to have it here.
Yeah.
Does every officer wear a camera when they're out?
On duty, yeah, and the detectives also, as long as they're not doing anything sensitive.
That's good. All right. And this is all budgeted already, so.
Yep.
Okay.
Any other questions? If not, if I could get a motion to approve a request from the New Canaan Police Department to purchase the following necessary equipment. $11,529 for Telrepco, 4 body camera software and 4 in-car computers, and $14,190 for Motorola Solutions, portable radios and accessories.
So,
It's unanimous. Thank you.
thank you.
Have a good day.
Okay. Grant, Greg, I think the whole community is interested in this presentation.
Okay, well, this is
No pressure.
one of the final steps in the long process of obtaining the $2 million that was awarded to the town last December through the bond commission, state bond commission, and through the work of our legislative team. One of the things that's unusual about this case is that the money was granted before the project started, after the project started. So we are going back and playing catch up and doing everything that has to be done, including apply for the money. So there's all sorts of things that are required, and this is one of them. So we have submitted an application, and I know this has to be read into the record, so
I apologize.
and you've already read it yourselves, but so this ratifies and approves
Don't
the
apologize,
application that
it's
has
all right.
been sent.
I apologize.
No,
Reading all
go ahead
that.
and read it.
It approves the application that has been submitted, and it authorizes the first selectman to provide any and all other documents that are necessary. And there's a bunch of them.
I just want to thank Greg and Tucker and everybody in town hall. It has been a lot of jumping through hoops, a lot of documents, a lot of working back and forth with legal and the state. So I just want to thank everybody for continuing to stick with it because it has not been easy.
Mhm, right, including, I want to say, Tiger and Bill and their team.
Yep.
They had the documentation that we needed to show how the money was spent and that it was spent properly and all those things. So it truly was it's still an ongoing team effort.
When do we think the actual funds may be received?
I would say it could be a couple more months from now. The lawyers our lawyer and the state attorney are finalizing the closing documents. And Deanna will soon be signing presumably the assistance agreement. So that'll get executed, needs to be signed by the state after Deanna signs it. And so my best guess is that it could be another couple of months, but it shouldn't be more than that. Hopefully it'll come in under the 1-year mark of when the money was authorized by the bond commission.
Ann, can I ask you this? Have we already bonded for Playhouse? Or is that going to be the next bond issue?
Just did one,
Okay.
and then we're doing another one in March, which was planned to be less than one.
Net of this, yeah. Okay.
Any other questions? Okay, so here we go. If I could get a motion to approve a request from the grant writer for resolutions regarding a $2 million grant from the state of Connecticut Department of Economic and Community Development Urban Action Grant Program for renovation and improvement work at the New Canaan Playhouse building as follows. Resolved that the actions of the first selectman in submitting to the state of Connecticut Department of Economic and Community Development a grant application and a financial assistance proposal under the DECD's Urban Action Grant Program in connection with the renovation and improvement work at the New Canaan Playhouse building are hereby ratified and approved, and further resolved that the first selectman is hereby authorized and directed to execute and deliver to the state of Connecticut Department of Economic and Community Development an assistance agreement and any and all related and supporting documents as they may be necessary and appropriate for the town to obtain $2 million of funds under DECD's Urban Action Grant Program.
So moved.
Second.
It's unanimous. Thank you, Greg.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay. All right, moving on, information technology, Chris Kaiser. Good morning.
Chris.
Big one.
Yeah.
Mine's a lot of this mouthful. This is the first two of the renewals for licensing. And it keeps us current. So we'll move from the version 7 to version 8. And that's kind of self-explanatory. It's all in the virtual servers and desktops. And the third is we now, after 10 years, are having to start to replace the actual desktop screens. So 10, these are supposed to be excellent. We've tested a couple of them. They only have 10 right now, again, manufacturing. So we're just going to buy the 10 and disperse them. And then we're going to go from there. So we'll be back to ask for more for the future desktops, but right now we'll start there.
How many total do we need?
Just over 150. So we're kind of spreading it out. We have the money. We knew it was coming, but we got 2 extra years out of what we have now in front of everybody, which was great. So we were able to just kind of just wait for the cost of the hardware to come down.
Any improvements like higher res or better, just a better screen?
All of it, video, security, higher resolution, bigger screen. So
10 years old. The ones you're replacing, and then you'll get a nice upgrade then. And for less money.
he's gonna be a little happy. They run well, but it was never really designed for video, and the video came into play, and now it's the future.
All right.
Good. All right. There are no further questions. If I could get a motion to approve a request from the Information Technology Department to enter into a contract with SHI in the amount of $36,016.87 for the renewal of VMware software and the purchase of 8 10-zig 0 clients.
So moved. Oh, 10.
8.
Oh,
Yeah, my
Okay.
fault. I'm sorry.
all right.
The numbers are right, but
All right. So, and purchase of 10 10-zig 0. Okay, I got Fs, I got Zs, like it's today's tongue twister day. Okay, could I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
It's unanimous. Thank you.
thank you.
Parking department. Stacy. Love the New Canaan.
Choose.
I love it.
Did that on purpose.
No, actually, I didn't.
Yesterday, John and I were in the exact same color scheme.
Do you want me to?
Yeah, you
start? Okay. So the parking department is requesting to impose the following late fees in relationship to the commuter parking permit renewals. $50 late fee for all permits renewed in September and $100 late fee for all permits renewed in October. So first, I'd like to state the reason I'm recommending this is because I do not want to see anybody lose a permit, especially people who have waited for years to get one. Giving you a little bit of background, the permits prior to COVID always expired on June 30th with a July 1st start date. After COVID, when we re-implemented permits again to park, the previous selectman had suggested that we change the start date to a September 1st with an August 31st expiration, because it was felt that to send out renewals prior to everybody leaving town for the summer was not a good idea. So it was better to have everybody renewed when they came back. Obviously, this is not working. Okay. So, a lot of people this year were away for the month of August. I sent out 874 renewal applications. We got a return of 730. Last year.
You sent them out the end of July 26th and 27th.
July, yeah, the 26th and 28th, actually, because it was in between a Friday and a Monday. Last year, we did it strictly through email notifications, and about 50% of the people actually got the email for the renewal. Half of them, it went to spam, half of them, they didn't get it. It did not work. So we went back to paper applications. We got a much better return rate, but again, it's not 100%. I'd like to see 100%. So again, the rule has always been if you didn't renew on time, you're supposed to lose your permit. I don't want to see that happen. That's why I'm recommending the late fee. However, we're seeing a little bit of pushback by people because some people came in the day after the deadline, which was September 3rd. And, again, mail wasn't open, they weren't home, they just getting to it, a lot of different reasons. Again, they forgot about it, it's been in a pile of mail. So that's why I'm recommending the late fee. However, moving forward, I'm going to revisit this whole renewal, and I have a lot of different ideas. First idea is we're looking at a whole new permitting program. Online options will be back up and available. Maybe using the alert system, email alert system, having people sign up for email alerts if they want parking alerts, so this will remind them. Also, maybe recommending a new start date, October 1st, so they have the whole month of September to renew. So that's what I'm looking at moving forward to discuss, to present to you in the future. But right now, I'd like to get through these renewals.
I think it's also important to point out that we're not the only town that has this struggle. Stacy's constantly reaching out to the parking managers in our neighboring towns. And they're all having the same problem. Many of them use the same system that we used in the past, and they had the same issue. Darien seems to now maybe have found a program. You were talking to them the other day.
Yeah, Darien is, they had used the program that I'm looking at, but they didn't use it for tickets, and now they're switching totally over to this new company that I am looking at, which I like because it's very user-friendly, I feel, and it's like the old program that we had. So, I think it will work. But again, I'm still looking at it and I'm going to present it. But that's one of the issues we have with our current permitting program.
Hey,
So-
Stacy, what did we do pre-COVID and when we just did the June 30th renewal? Was it just by mail? Do you recall?
Yes, it was just by mail. And there was a late fee years ago, and I don't know if Steve was still on the parking commission, but years ago, we always, it was a while ago, but the parking commission actually did implement a late fee because there were so many people that didn't renew on time. So, but it was stated on the application, which it wasn't, because we did away with it after COVID because of the change of the commute and the fees in general. I think the parking commission felt that it was higher for the less commuting time that people were doing. So we never re-implemented the late fees, but it seemed to work well, and that's where I got these figures from. So, then that's why I'm presenting it to you again.
Do you have a sense of folks who missed the deadline? Because I asked John, my husband, he deals with this. And I said, because I didn't pay attention to it, he goes, did you get in time? Because he goes, they gave us so much notice and so many different notices is what he said. Now, I wonder if it's people who commute every day are more on top of it because you need the spot. Do we know if it's people who have had, just permits, they just like to have it and they don't use it a lot? Is there any difference, or did you know that?
As far as
Who missed the
who's
deadline?
using
'Cause, like, if you're
you-
commuting, you got to have it,
Yeah.
so maybe it's more top of mind.
So, like Tucker said, it's a mix. We have people commuting all the time and they've had them for years and they forgot to renew or they didn't make the deadline. We've had a couple of people that I've spoke to that very rarely use it at all, but they want it because it took them 12 years to get it, and they don't want to give it up. So it really is, we have some new permit holders, maybe going through this for the first year. And again, then there are a lot of permit holders who this is so important to them that they make a notation in their calendar every year that if I don't see something, and I tell people that, especially new permit holders, if you don't see something by the first week in August, you contact this office. So, and I had been willing to work with anybody who maybe couldn't get into the office because they were away in August. It just, something is not totally working, so it does have to be revisited. But again, I'm just looking to get through this year. So, I'm going to defer it to you. We kind of have three options. We could implement the late fee that I'm recommending, lessen the late fee, or just get everybody renewed and move forward and just say next year, we're going to lay everything out in applications, emails, new permitting system. And if that doesn't work, because there will be.
Now, the commission
for.
this last week voted for these fees.
Yeah.
So the commission did vote.
Did
Yes.
when I presented it, yes. But again, I'm
Yep.
sitting before you because, you go through a week of things and hearing different things. I
And this
kind
year,
of,
even though the time frame in this year was problematic, I've been working with Stacy now and as part of parking since I've been here, coming up on 4 years, or just completed 4 years. We have this discussion every year. There's always somebody who comes in, regardless of how they got it. Some said, yeah, I got it and I just forgot about it, whatever. So there's all of that part of it as well. I think if you did decide to not do anything, there would have to be a drop date.
right.
Because
That was it. Yeah.
people will start coming in November.
Whenever they feel like
Yes,
it. And
so-
there does, and yes, and that, so if there was nothing, then you still have to say, listen, after this date.
Yeah.
That,
These other municipalities that have, that we're looking at, we're on our phones every day. We get a charge from Apple. We get a charge from Netflix. We get a charge from all over the world on our phone, hitting our phone every day. Hey, your renewal's up. There's got to be an easy way to do this. I mean, even if we took I think taking a credit card on file, like everybody has a card, put a card on file, and then just hit the card once a year. To me, that's that.
well, like an auto renew, but I would have to check with, I'm not sure.
And it may, if we have to build in a service fee that's part of the card, that's fine. So you don't lose any revenue. I mean, it's.
That would work. The only thing.
I think they're asking something that.
You can't
That's what
do
I
it.
think.
Well, Ann's come up. The only thing that's different on this one is people's cars change so often.
Yeah, then
So
you're chasing
the
cars down.
registration usually stays the same, license plate will stay the same, but she does need updated information in terms of the
Right,
make, the
so
model.
maybe if auto renew was allowed, it would still have to go through me for approval. And that would be something I'm looking into with the new permitting program, but I'm not.
The permits don't turn over at a rapid enough rate. I mean, we have 800 permits roughly, right? Something like-
874 was what I meant.
So out of that number, probably 750 of them are just constantly, you're always there. So really you're looking at the delta, whatever that difference is. Everybody else just wants it.
Does the
Just-
application,
People change their cars
Yeah, they do. They do.
so frequently.
does the application have either a cell phone or an email? Because if every application had a cell phone or email, then that would help.
Well, it has an email. I make them,
Okay.
I make them put an email address in their account. I don't know if they're putting their cell phones down, but there is a phone number associated to
Yeah,
it.
It would help, but
It would
in
help.
prior years, they did the email and they still didn't get renewals.
Right, but
Those
I'm
people-
wondering
I'm a
if
big
you could,
deleter.
if you could add in the future, a cell phone and you could say for updates on renewal. And maybe that, just, you kind of have to hit people in a lot of different places.
Yeah, all of this would be
Future.
future to look into. And yes, I'm going to try to do
Yeah.
every means necessary.
So can we just go back to the
Auto
credit
renew.
card auto renew?
What Stacy said, it's going to depend on the vendor. We don't keep the credit cards. PCI compliance means we can't have any credit card on our servers. So when people go out to pay, they're going to the vendor who's protected. So none of those
Oh, for the
records are
town,
kept.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
that's,
so
that's actually, it would have to be an
It would
outside
have to
vendor
be
solution.
if the vendors are able.
So
to
some
do
vendors do,
ordering,
some vendors don't, but we can't.
And I will check in with the one that
It's hard to
I'm
believe that somebody
interested
hasn't
in.
come up with something.
I know.
Yeah,
Well, as I
you
said
would
to you
think.
this morning, there is, Easy Pass has come out, some version of this
Yeah.
that,
I checked and
yeah,
can't seem to get a hold of somebody
Right.
to actually talk to at Easy
basically
Pass.
that would work. That's more, yeah. So Easy Pass is, a potential, but we've got to do a better job of finding something that makes
Yeah.
this work because we
And
struggle with
I
this.
think, maybe with all the pass holders, we're looking at expanding the alerts. So
Yes.
right now
Right.
you get DPW,
Yeah.
Health and Human Services, my newsletter. We
And
can
a parking.
add a
Parking,
parking one, and then when people come in, or we can eventually send a letter to everyone who's on that list.
Yep.
To register and how.
I mean, unfortunately, I think this is also an indication that unfortunately, she has them postmarked. They went out 26, 27. Some people claim and they swear to God they did not get it until the end of August.
Yeah, which is why it'd be
Possibly.
great if we had, emails and, option to put a cell phone, because then you get a pop out alert.
You could put reminders on top of it with the tax bills as well.
We
Mhm.
talked about that,
yeah,
but not
we did.
everybody has the permits. So, you could put a reminder. in there,
Reminder
but
in, yeah, like
Yeah.
a brief
Yeah,
overview.
Because that
There
actually
would
worked
be-
really well for the alerts when we put that in this year with the tax bills.
Yeah.
Many go to mortgage companies, but every approach has got to be utilized to remind everybody that this is happening, whatever the time frame is.
Because we go through this every year, we change it up, we try. I've done so many different things over the last, 20 years, and there will be a few. Now, I have to say, it is not unusual to have this, like the 133. We've had that prior year. Last year was horrible, with just.
And
the
there was an
email.
email that went out last year.
Correct. It was
So,
strictly
like,
done through email, and it was
see,
horrible.
It was the worst year.
It was the worst year
It's-
ever.
So
I
what did
mean-
we do last year with people
Spam.
who missed?
We moved the deadline for about 2
Initially,
weeks. We
yes.
didn't impose a fee, but we moved the deadline. We gave them a 2-week grace
And
period.
then
We
some
didn't
people
have-
But
forgot
people were
that.
still after that.
Some
People
people
still
were
came in
still
after that.
After that, and then we,
Being a commuter, you make sure you have it. I mean, because you need it. I mean, it was always, it kind of back of our mind, just being anxious, oh, it's a renew. So,
I think the number one
Mhm.
thing that we see here is that August is not the time to do
Yeah,
this.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I think that's easy.
and that might be
to-
the, one of the first and easiest changes. We
Mhm.
just move it back, to an
Because
October
most of the
1st.
people that came in complained that they were away. It wasn't
For the month of August,
Yeah.
right. They had their mail on hold.
Yeah.
But there were people that did,
threw it
the
away.
majority of people put it in a pile
To do.
of mail
Yep.
to do.
And if I can just add to what, just to throw something in, and we can talk about it offline.
Mhm.
July is actually not a good time to be mailing it out. And I'll tell you why. Being a tax collector
Mm.
in a different district, I would actually make the staff go through the return mail we got, because we were getting people's doctor's bills, cable bills, their payments to other vendors were in our return mail, and we'd ship it up and send it back out. So you've got all these towns that are going to be shipping it to these main points, Stamford, Bridgeport, the mailing. Ours are going to be in there, and it could realistically get lost. So July is a tough time, unless you're going to do it at the end of the month or something, is a tough time for
I
mailing.
think we go
That's
back to
what
the
I
month of
did.
June. I mean,
back to
Yeah,
June.
well, we
kind of
could
middle
go-
May to middle June.
Go back, yeah. It
Yeah.
wasn't thought that it was. Well,
Yeah, there was
moving
a
forward.
comment about timing of revenues, because it's so
Right,
close to the
that was-
fiscal year end. So we should really have a conversation about, do you
About
want
that as
that
well.
coming in the prior fiscal year end? Because this year, if we do it in May, it'll be
Prior year.
Yeah.
pulling up on the
then-
renewal. So
Right.
you,
Yeah.
depending, I mean, we
You
just know
credit it
that.
differently.
Yeah, yeah. So. Okay. Any other questions?
So it's.
So we
whether
have,
just
do,
approve,
yeah,
or
do we want to
there's some-
approve the 50 and 100?
I mean, my thinking, I've always tried to back up our commissions. When Park and Rec sends us something, when any of the commission sends us something, that's a recommendation from that organization, unless there's an egregious reason why. I think we back up the commission. So that's my thought.
I mean, I will say, it's a small fee.
Yeah.
It's not awful. If it's a fee because you were vacationing on August, it's not. gonna
And we
break the
didn't
bank.
raise our parking rates. We haven't in
Yeah.
a number of years. So it's not like there's been a rate increase and then this is on top of it.
So
I mean,
in
the only other thing we could do is push it 1 month back, like say it's October is the 50 and
or you could say
November.
September, no charge,
Yeah.
October 100. I mean, I wouldn't reduce the October, I mean,
Yeah.
come on. But again, the point is that, the parking commission thought about it.
Right.
Yeah.
We give them the responsibility to go dig into it deeper than we do.
absolutely.
All right, then, so I'm gonna, if there's nothing else, I'm gonna go with the Parking Commission's recommendation and ask for a motion to approve a request from the Parking Department to impose the following late fees related to commuter parking renewals. $50 late fee for all permits renewed in September, $100 late fee for all permits renewed in October.
Second.
It's unanimous. Thank
Thank you,
you.
Stacy.
Thank you.
Add one more thing about the
Maybe
survey.
in the same, oh, well, no, that was something
Um,
else.
We are working on a parking survey. You've heard us speak about that. We were struggling with SurveyMonkey, which is the vendor that we've used before. A test survey went out last night. It was not intended to go out as it did. It's okay. It was just not formatted the way we wanted it to, and not all the questions were there. So if you did receive it or you hear from anybody, we will be sending out a corrected survey in the next, few days. We're just trying to get through that.
How many people did they go out to?
2,800.
Oh, that's all.
Well, at least we've caught their attention now.
Yeah.
Now we can tell them, respond to them and tell them it's coming.
Okay.
So, yeah, there were 2 versions. Bob's down there working on that now.
And may I just add one thing? After the late fee renewed in October, anything after that, people will lose their permit. Just,
That's fair.
okay, just
I
want to
think
make
that's
sure
fair.
that
If,
Yes.
I mean, you've
that has
got, had
to,
2
you have
months
to have a
and,
cutoff.
yeah, I mean, then there are people waiting, if there are people waiting to be in the lumberyard lot, as Amy said, you've been given 2 options to, be able to renew. And at that point, it's for the people who, give somebody else a chance who's more
We're not
anxious.
having you go to people's house and knock on the door.
Right. So, right.
But you'll alert them right before they're terminated. Those 133 get one more shot at it or whatever? Okay, good, good.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I'm sure just about every one of them will be in today, and I will be here until about 9 o'clock at night.
But you and I
making sure
did
they're
talk
in there.
about that you will go through and try
Yes,
to match
that's
up
what
anybody that has
that
not,
has
that
not
we
had
have
it.
not heard from at all.
Yep, and I
and
will
say,
reach
this
out
is
to
your
them.
last, this is
Absolutely.
your last ditch
Yep.
effort.
So we'll get everybody renewed that, yeah, hasn't renewed yet, and then we'll go from there. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Marcy. Oh, Marcy.
Yes, be Marcy.
Okay.
I'm just covering for Marcy. This one is an easy one. You already approved this at the last meeting.
Mhm.
What we're looking for is to actually approve the vendor name versus the process. So we're looking for you to approve the New Canaan Community Foundation, and then we're fine. The last one had a description of behavioral health needs assessment.
Oh, and we have
Yeah.
to give the money
We have
to
to,
the
we're giving the
community
money to the foundation.
Yeah.
Just remind me, is and then the foundation is then subcontracting that out
Yes.
further?
Yes.
Because it sounds like
Yes.
Community Foundation is going to do the assessment. I'm like, well, not really their skill set.
From, yeah,
Okay.
the mediator.
Yeah,
So it's just
right.
approving the vendor if you could do that.
Okay.
And they're working with the whole Behavioral Health Alliance to create this survey, so.
Great.
2 versions. So the adult version is going to be going out first. The one in October is for adults. They'll be doing a youth assessment later, so. Okay, if there are no further questions, could I get a motion to approve a request from the Human Services Department for a purchase order in the amount of $25,000 for the New Canaan Community Foundation? The project entails a behavioral health needs assessment survey, and the source of funds is the opioid settlement grant funds.
So moved.
Second.
It's unanimous. Thank you.
That foundation's
All
amazing.
right, Jen.
Morning, everyone. So this is for the approval of the memorandum of agreement for the contract for the Public Health Emergency Preparedness Grant. The previous Board of Selectmen approved accepting the grant. So this is just to agree to sign the contract between our fiduciary, which is Ledge Light Health District, and the town. So the way it works, instead of our normal grants that are direct with the state, this way they only send, the state has 5 contracts, one with each region 1 through 5. And then each region has a fiduciary, which ours is Ledge Light Health District. It used to be Yale. And then they have the subcontracts with each municipality and each health department to make it easier on the state's end. But, and there was only slight difference from the original acceptance of the grant till now is we're getting slightly less money. It was 11,708 that we got in the past, and now it's 11,393, which comes out to 6 hours of part-time preparedness work of the whole year. So it's not a big deal.
And this is the first year of the grant?
First year of the 5-year cycle.
Right, so it'll be 11, that, at this
11,
point is the 11th.
3 per year, unless
Not
our
gonna go down at
population,
this point.
unless our population changes, it might go up. We're having a meeting on Thursday. The smaller municipalities are making the argument that it shouldn't be by population because we all have the same deliverables. So it doesn't matter that I'm a small town. I have the same deliverables as Stamford and Bridgeport. We'll see how that plays out because obviously that can be a big hurting to the inner cities, but we all have to do the exercises. We all have to do the tabletop drills and we all have to do all this stuff, but we've just always gotten a short end of the stick.
Shocking.
Yeah.
So this funds, did you say 6 hours? more or
It's
less?
6 hours less. It's 4 hours a week that I get. Nick Jossam, my public health preparedness coordinator. And that's just to keep the plans updated and to assist with exercises and any of the other work. Then it just comes to me.
There's almost as many pages in this contract as there are dollars that we're getting. So I have to admit, I didn't read.
Well,
the entire
and the funny
contract,
thing
but-
is, that has come up that, the amount of work, because, I have to do all the, the financial reports, the progress reports and all that. But even if you don't take the money, because it's such a small amount, you're still responsible for the deliverables. So, yeah, exactly. So at least I get Nick for a couple hours to help me out. So I never turn down money.
All right.
All right. So if there are no further questions, if I could get a motion to approve a request from the Health Department to enter into a 5-year contract with Ledge Light Health District as part of a previously approved public health emergency preparedness grant.
So moved.
It's unanimous. Thank
Thank
you,
you, Jen.
Jen. All right, Lakeview Avenue Culvert, Joe.
Hey, Joe.
Good morning. So as you know, the Lakeview Avenue culvert needs to be replaced. The new
For much
culvert,
more than $5,000.
the new culvert is being designed for 2025 install. So during that time, the town inspects the head wall after every major storm event just to make sure that it's okay. And after the last storm, we discovered some additional scouring at the head wall. So we thought it would be prudent to pour some concrete and just kind of shore up the head wall so that we can get another year out of it while it's being designed.
Or
So
more. Mhm.
what's that?
Or more.
Or more. Well, it's cheap insurance to preserve the culvert while it's being designed. This was done as an emergency repair and the work is already completed. So the engineering department is requesting, we already requested the emergency authorization, but now we're requesting the contract for Hussey Brothers Excavating LLC in the amount of $5,250 to perform the emergency repairs.
And the reason that this is coming to this board is that the PO that was set up for Hussey was not big enough for
Got
the
it.
year.
Mhm.
Because we shouldn't be doing this early in the year. And we are working for next year to fix this process. So it's constantly getting improved. So.
In the source of the funds for this just is within the highway department?
Mhm.
Yeah, okay.
Joe, this photo you sent us, that's right when it happened where all the boulders are falling into the water.
So full disclosure, a couple of them already had fallen out.
Yeah.
But when we went out there, there's actually scouring underneath where basically the foundation is. So we had to basically put a giant glob of concrete underneath there to make sure that it lasts through the next storm.
What does scouring mean? Like erosion?
Scour is just
underneath that
erosion
base?
underneath the bed of the stream basically gets washed out from underneath, so it gets undermined.
Not much we can do. It's Mother Nature.
No, but pictures help.
Yeah.
Thanks for
Yeah.
putting that in.
Yeah.
Helps a lot.
Yeah.
All right. If there are no further questions, if I could get a motion to approve a request from the Department of Public Works to enter into a contract with Hussey Brothers Excavating LLC in the amount of $5,250 for an emergency repair at the head wall of the Lakeview Avenue culvert as a result of damage during recent storms.
So moved.
Second.
It's unanimous.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you. All right, Tiger.
morning.
Right.
So this first item is a blanket purchase order for Madison Supply for the Highway Department for $40,000 for the year. We had typically been purchasing from two vendors. We discussed that last year with Madison Supply and Ferguson. Ferguson is no longer able to produce the materials that we need or supply the materials we need. So now we're looking at sole sourcing it from Madison Supply. Our typical expenditure over the years in fiscal 24 was a combined 48,500. In fiscal 23 was a combined 55,000. We're looking for this year for just $40,000 from Madison Supply to supply drainage supplies for the Highway Department for various work that they need to do. And the work itself or the materials itself is on the state bid price. So
You're comfortable with the 40 just because the last couple of years it was a chunk higher.
yeah, okay.
And Madison is the only vendor.
Madison's the only vendor, right?
It's the
Yeah.
only vendor.
We like to, in the past, we like to use the two vendors. That way, if one couldn't supply, we go to the other, but Ferguson is no longer.
Okay.
What are drainage supplies? I mean, what is
Pipe,
pipe?
mostly, yeah, mostly high density.
I didn't know if it was
polyethylene
gravel and
pipe.
Yeah,
that
no,
stuff.
no,
Yeah.
no.
No, not the stone and gravel. It's mostly pipe. It's basically all pipe.
And price, is it more expensive than it used to be? So you're getting less for 40,000 than you used to?
Each year, yeah.
Okay. Motion to approve a request from the Department of Public Works for FY 25 blanket purchase order in the amount of $40,000 for Madison Supply to cover expenses related to various drainage projects.
Second.
It's you.
Thank you.
Dump truck vendor.
So this next one is, you actually approved the purchase of this on the 20th of August. The proposal for the purchase came in with from Western Star of Connecticut. It's actually it's an affiliate or a subsidiary of Freightliner of Hartford. So when we went to do the purchase order, everything came through as Freightliner of Hartford. So we're actually just trying to change the name of the purchase from Western Star of Connecticut to Freightliner of Hartford. No change in the material, no change in the dump truck, no change in the timing, no change in the price, just a change in vendor name. So
And we're going to get that truck.
we're going to get that truck.
Okay. Any questions?
Nope.
All right. If I could get a motion to approve a previously authorized dump truck purchase of a new 2025 Western Star dump truck in the amount of $273,239 from Freightliner of Hartford. Note, Western Star is previously noted per the Board of Selectmen meeting on the 8/20/24 minutes and agenda.
Second.
So
moved, sorry. I thought I saw your hand going up over there.
All right. It's unanimous. Thank you.
So this next item is, we went out to bid for some trail renovation work at Waveney Park. This is the portion of trail that if you come down Waveney Road where you meet Lapham Road, there's a stretch of trail right there that leads along Lapham Road to where the Merritt Parkway crosses. And there's a trailhead there at Lapham Road. So that stretch all the way along Lapham from Waveney Road to the trailhead at Lapham Road at the Merritt Parkway Bridge is the area that we're looking to refurbish.
Is it across from the leaf? Is it the
Across
strip
from the-
across inside the park, right, where you're?
Exactly,
Okay.
yeah.
I was
Yeah,
just trying
across
to
from the leaf mulch
visualize.
site. That's why we told the contractors to find it. It was across from the leaf mulch site. Inside the stone wall, there's a
Yeah.
trail, but it doesn't have the preferred surface that we have in certain areas or in disrepair. So we went out to bid. We received 4 responsible bids. The lowest bidder was Sound Construction at $56,100. Sound has been bidding on our projects for a couple of years. They had done work for us several years ago and then just haven't been able to win a bid. They're a very good contractor, and we feel strongly that they'll do good work for us. We added a contingency of $8,415 just for unknowns that might happen as he digs out the trail surface itself. We run into some unstable soils, things of that nature, for a total of $64,515, and the funds are currently available.
So Tiger, this is not then just natural stone. This is going to be an artificial surface?
No, it's natural stone. It's just that, yeah, it's I call it the preferred surface, which is basically, it's an item 57 stone. So it's a combination of 3/8 stone with pea stone. It's what we've been utilizing on all of the new trails in Waveney.
Someone
So,
who used to run on the old stone, it was like, gosh, this is terrible.
right, this is,
I
yeah,
needed to use
It
hiking
was
boots to-
big, it was big
Yeah.
crushed stone,
Yeah.
like that,
It was not good for.
like construction.
walking.
so it was a lot larger stone. This is a much smaller stone itself. So this trail surface is the same surface that we have on Waveney Road, from South Avenue all the way to the house, all the way to Waveney
How
House.
wide?
8
What's the width
feet.
on this trail? Really?
Yeah, it gives
It's
a
not
nice,
now, right?
Doesn't
Isn't,
feel
is it
like it.
narrow?
excuse me?
Is it narrow in some places now? Are we wide?
Narrows as you go into the woods, there's trees
Right.
there.
We're trying to stay at an 8-foot width throughout. Allows two people to be walking abreast and someone pass in the other opposite direction without actually having to step off the trail.
So you're not going to have to take any trees out or anything.
We had to take 2 down, but both of them were in disrepair. So, but no, we didn't have to, in order to put this in, it's already pretty much at the width that it was. But we had 2, one was damaging the stone wall and then the other one was leaning out over Lapham Road into the basically the pedestrian zone of where the trail was. So we took 2 down.
Any drainage issues down there? Doesn't the water flow down into that area?
There's a couple, yeah. So we'll be looking at doing a couple of crossings if need be. There's the majority of it sits off the trail between the area of the trail and then where the golfing area is. And that is a little wet, but the trail itself seems to be pretty good. And we've elevated the trail slightly just to stay out of the wet.
How long do you envision this stonework to last?
This should, well, with just some minor repairs here and there, should give us a good longevity. As long as it doesn't get swept off the trail, there isn't much else to be done with it. So there's minor repairs that have to be done for, say, a drainage washout, but we haven't really had to repair any of it that we've put in recently.
Yeah, and that's what's the question you had, Steve, just how these rains are so brutal now and low-lying issues. You know, you kind of hate to put something in that's going to get like washed away.
Right. We haven't seen any washouts in this area, mostly on the slopes. We see washouts. So we've seen it on the trails that are along the Merritt Parkway and then along the Waveney Road from the house down towards the 4-way intersection heading towards South Avenue. That trail seems to get hit. But
Right.
that's all draining across the trail itself. And we've done
And
some
there's
work.
some wetlands back there.
Work to elevate the trail and then put a drainage ditch on either side so that the water won't cross the trail. It'll actually stay inside the ditches to then head down to either the catch basin or the wetlands.
All right. So if I could get a motion to approve a request from the Department of Public Works to enter into a contract with Sound Construction, in the amount of $56,100 plus a contingency of $8,415 for a total cost of $64,515. The project entails the reconstruction of the existing trail in Waveney Park.
So moved.
Second, Tiger, how long does this take to reach this?
There's so many people that use these trails.
Yeah.
It's so important that we keep them up because, I mean, you could be there in the middle of January, people are walking those trails. I mean, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
Every day.
Okay, it's unanimous. Thank you. All
All right, thank you.
right, GIS.
So this next is just our annual contract with Ty and Bond. Ty and Bond has been our GIS provider and our consultant for several decades, since its inception, to be honest. So there are several tasks associated with keep maintaining our GIS service. One is the web hosting itself. So they actually host our GIS system. That's a cost of $6,000 a year. And then they have assessor tax map updates that SEBI gives to Ty and Bond. And then we have an on-call service whereby any map changes or map requests that we might receive, we take that out of that portion. So that's a number of $18,000 not to exceed for a total of $24,000, and the funds are currently available. And this is the same price as last year.
So is the 18,000 based on the number of updates we give them?
Yeah, some work that we do. So if we give them a lot of work, then we get up to that number. If not, we'd see a savings.
So last year, because it's an annual contract,
It's an annual.
so of that 18, 24, we used
Last
it
year,
all.
yeah. In prior years, we had not, but in this
Okay.
past year, we had.
What sort of dictated that all
We
the,
had some updates for the fire department. We had some updates for emergency management, some updates for the housing, for the housing committee.
Okay.
Things of that nature that kind of drove us a little bit further than we would normally have had.
questions?
Nope.
All right, if not, if I could get a motion to approve a request from the Department of Public Works to enter into a contract with Ty and Bond in the amount of $24,000 in order to perform annual maintenance and updates to the GIS system.
So moved.
Second.
It's unanimous.
All right. Thank
What,
you.
Can you just tell me, are there any other providers of GIS? Okay.
Yeah, we haven't researched to go out. Ty and Bond is
Okay.
one of the premier ones and services a lot of the towns in the state.
Mhm.
And we've had excellent, they're incredibly responsive and very, very good. So we haven't seen a need to go elsewhere.
Okay.
This next is our annual MS4 outfall screening and annual report. The MS4 stands for Municipal Separate Storm Sewer System. So that's our storm sewer. That's the rainwater. So we have a permit with the Connecticut DEP. Ty and Bond helps us maintain that permit. It's a 5-year permit with annual reports necessary. You approved that report just a little while ago for 23. So this is all in for there's several tasks associated with it, but it's an all-in cost of $15,100. They had been holding their price of $14,500 for approximately 5 years, and they finally went to $15,100. Modest
I always want
increase.
to know who reads these reports. I had to sign the report. I was like, oh my.
There's one individual at the
Oh my
state.
goodness.
There's only one. There used to be
For 169 towns. And-
It's
and-
169
Oh,
reports.
and the document is like this thick it's,
What does outfalls mean? I'm
So an outfall is where the water
trying to
leaves
get
the
some
drain.
definitions here.
So it's where the water leaves the drainage system and then outfalls into a stream bed. So we have
We've had a lot of that.
We
lately.
have a lot. Yeah, we have well over 150, about 170 of them. And we have to test periodically in dry weather and wet weather.
Falling into the stream, basically.
Yes. What it is considered illicit discharge detection and elimination. So we test it to see if there's anything in there that shouldn't be in there. That's would be considered an illicit discharge. At that point in time, we retest and then we chase upstream to find out what it was and mitigate it.
I'm assuming with super tough weather, there's going to be stuff that. goes
You
in.
try to stay away from the 7-inch rainstorms. Yeah, it's
that's
predominantly during
helpful,
in the dry weather. If something's coming out or just after a slight rain, you wouldn't test after a heavy soaker because
Right.
it would be a little different.
Illicit discharges should be avoided at all costs. Probably.
It's helpful.
Yeah.
You don't want that outfall to fall poorly.
all right. If I could get a motion to approve a request from the Department of Public Works to enter into a contract with Ty and Bond in the amount of $15,100 for the preparation of the MS4 annual report.
So moved.
Second.
It's unanimous. Thank you.
Thanks, Tiger.
Treated salt.
So this next is our annual purchase for treated salt. There was a bid. We usually sister with CROG, Capital Regional Council of Governments. CROG went out to bid this year, and the low bid for our section, our Region 6, was Chemical Equipment Labs with a new product that we had never heard of. Chemical Equipment Labs, we had never heard of the new product. So we asked CROG if we could not go forward with their bid. They said yes. We didn't have to go forward with accepting a vendor that we didn't know with a material that we
This
didn't
is the
know.
molasses treated salt.
Treated salt, ice be gone.
Just
Yeah, magic -0. So then we reached out to Morton, and what Morton did was Morton actually gave a price that was lowest across the board for any vendor by 10 cents. So they beat the bid that was the low bid across the board for the state. So they came in at 88.78. You can see there's a market change from last year's price. Last year they were at 99.85, and this year we're at 88.78. So there's kind of a course correction there. We are responsible to buy 1,200 tons minimum. That's usually a couple of storms for us. And we're asking for a purchase amount of 3,000 tons. That's our order to Morton Salt, but as part of the contract, we have a minimum purchase of about 1,200 tons.
So Tiger, if for some reason, I'm gonna be very optimistic and say we are not gonna have a lot of storms. If we don't use all of it, can we store it for a year or not?
Yeah.
Okay.
We always try to leave the season with a full shed so that we don't have a problem going forward with procurement. So yes, we can store it. You can store it for quite a long time. It sits at the transfer station inside the incinerator. Yeah, building.
Oh, in the incinerator.
Well, we had converted the old incinerator building into a salt storage area. It's not a salt barn, but we converted
Next to
it
the swap shop,
next to the swap shop.
just so everyone
Sorry.
understands where we
Yes.
are.
Yeah. Right now it has mulch in it, and then the salt is behind it. So you'll see mulch in the front, salt in the back.
Okay.
And then we'll remove the mulch sometime as we get closer to the winter. We'll take that all out so we have access to the salt.
So if I'm looking at your graph of our usage, right? So in 2024, we didn't use much, right? About 20%. So does the salt shed hold 3,000?
No,
No.
it doesn't hold the full amount.
So,
1,800 tons.
all right. I'm just, so we have, I'm just trying to understand the getting the 3,000, it kind of gets delivered through the year. Is that what
It's
happens?
delivered through the year as we need it, right? So it's on an order basis.
Yeah.
So as we need it, Daniel will call and order more.
Okay, so we basically, we budget for 3,000, we have to take 1,200, and then depending on the weather, we have a positive delta or a negative delta.
Correct. Right. And and as it's been shown over the past couple of years, we haven't reached that number.
Right.
We try very hard not, we
Yeah.
calibrate all of our sanders or our salters. So everything is calibrated to run with the equipment at the speed that it wants for the application that we feel is necessary. It's all put down in the center line, and the molasses itself actually helps the salt stick to the surface. So we actually get the salt to stay on the surface, and then it'll, at that point in time, melt with the snow and then shed across as the crown of the road. It sheds across the road and treats the entire road. So
So the treated is molasses
Yes.
treated. Wow, so do like the dogs lick this up?
Salt lick, as they say, right?
it is environmentally friendly. It's
I'm
So
learning so
actually,
many
I
words.
mean, you're bringing up a good point, Amy. So I'm a little confused
Yeah.
because looking at this chart, I mean, we haven't come close to 3,000 in the last number of years. So why do we even need to order any for this year right
We-
now? Because we should, based on.
we
the
need to
numbers
place
I
our
see.
we need to place our order in so we get in the queue, and then all we do is ask as we need it, as we use it going out,
But you're
we will buy more.
guaranteed to pay for 3,000.
No,
Not guaranteed to pay for 3,000.
I'm
No,
sorry, 1,200. But
1,200.
we haven't even come close to 1,200 the last few years.
Right. They haven't asked us to. The contract reads 1,200. They've never come forward and said you actually have to buy the 1,200. Last year we bought 800 ton from them.
Okay, so we only bought what we needed, even though we're,
We need
so it's not take or pay.
yeah,
pay.
because I was
Yeah.
just like, okay.
buy what we need.
Okay. All right. Is that in that language somewhere that we are not required, even though it says we are?
It's not in the language, but in the years past, we've never had to
So I'm
come
just-
to that.
yeah.
to that.
Okay.
All right,
Yeah,
so
minimum.
we're budgeting for, just over 250,000, but last year we spent probably what?
Last year we spent.
1,000 or 80,000, 100?
Last year was 97,728.19.
Okay.
And the year prior to that was 73,573.50.
All right, so this is a placeholder in case we get a really bad winter.
Mhm.
That's a.
But even since 2011, we haven't had 3,000,
Right.
but 1,200. Sorry, 1,200. I gotta keep having the.
If you look, in 22, we had 2,000, in 21, we had 2,000. So we've been over the 1,200, but under the 3,000. You're correct. And since 15.
So we're
we haven't
budgeting
done
at 3,000.
We budgeted 3,000 because that's pretty much our highest year, but we haven't gone to.
Yeah, since
meet that.
2015. We had it once in 2015. We hit that level. Okay.
Right.
You don't want to be without it.
No,
Yeah.
absolutely. I agree. I'm just
Trying to
I'm
understand
just looking at back over 10 years, and we've had once where we even got close.
So,
That was the year we had 20. we didn't
so
have 20.
Ann,
I was really
year
thinking
end,
that year.
how does where do we show the positive delta? Is
There
it with the
well,
in your department?
We don't budget for storms. So this comes out, it's either we're doing this work or we're doing other work with the men. So it just increases other work, that we would do. So since we don't have a storm budget, this is actually in the road maintenance budget.
Okay.
So it takes up a predominant amount of money out of the road maintenance. So if we're actually fighting snow throughout the entire winter, then we can't do other maintenance work. If we're not, then we do other maintenance work. So the Board of Finance did not want us to have a storm budget. They wanted us to have budget here. And then if we have a bad year, we come back and give them an update in January, February as to where we are and then look.
If you need it.
Yes.
Okay.
If we need
All
it.
right, thank you.
All right, so if there are no further questions, if I can get a motion to approve a request from the Department of Public Works to enter into a contract with Morton Salt for the purchase of 3,000 tons of treated salt at $88.78 per ton for a total cost of $266,340 for winter operations.
So moved.
Second.
It's unanimous. Thank you.
This next is, it goes along with it. So this is the purchase of the liquid that we actually inject into the salt at times. The Innovative is the supplier for liquid ice be gone, or titled Magic -0. We've been working with Innovative since the time that we started using liquids. This is an excellent product. Our salt is treated with it. They've been pretty much standard for their price. You see a little bit of they're standard across the board from last year to this year at $1.69 a gallon. And we're requesting 12,000 gallons or 20,280.
And same question, what did we use last year?
Last year was 5,677.25. The year prior was 950. The year prior to that was over 12. The year over that was over 12, and then it kind of fluctuates.
This is like for extreme ice, right? You don't use this for any other reason other than ice.
This is to actually inject into the salt to actually help us get a little bit more burn out of it, to get a little bit.
Because this is the stuff that's not good for cars.
No, this stuff is not bad for cars.
Is it environmentally friendly too?
This is well, it has magnesium chloride in it, but it has the fact that it has molasses on it is actually the thing that saves the cars.
Okay.
So that's a prohibitive at that point in time. So it prevents the rust and degradation.
There was a while the state was going crazy with that. That's years ago, but that's
State's using pure calcium. That's
disastrous for cars.
Yeah, state's using what the state puts down. Yeah, that heats it up pretty good. And that's what's actually giving you your burn on your vehicles, your rust and your
You may have said it, and I
Sure.
missed it. So is this like the salt contract where we only buy what? Sorry.
buy what we need. So right now we have full tanks and whatever we need, we'll buy.
Okay, great.
All right.
All right, so if I could get a motion to approve the request from the Department of Public Works to enter into a contract with Innovative Surface Solutions for the purchase of 12,000 gallons of liquid ice be gone at $1.69 per gallon for a total price of $20,280.
Second.
Thank you.
All right, so moving on to Waveney House abatement.
Morning, everybody.
Hey, Bill.
All right, so we have wait a minute, I got a lot, here we go.
Got a lot of files there, Bill.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been busy. And this one here is,
This is the abatement one.
yeah.
Down in the
Here's the
basement.
abatement. So, it's kind of like a phased project, so to speak. We could do a little abatement in the basement, which is going to pave the way for us to do the water pipe replacement program that we have for Waveney in the basement. This is not a full abatement of the basement. We're not going to touch none of the heating pipes, okay? Because everything's very old, so we don't want to mess with that. And I don't want to open up the heating pipes to just blow heat in the basement. I'd rather keep it insulated. For upstairs, what we'd like to do is abate all the domestic water lines. We ran a new line in there about a year or so ago, and we did the new bathrooms. We have a new meter outside. We upgraded everything along the way. What we'd like to do is I'm out to bid now for the water portion of that. And what we'd like to do is get everything in place so that we can go in and abate those water pipes and then replace them all at the same time. We retained Fuss and O'Neill, who's been doing a lot of work for us. They've been performing great when it comes to this abatement stuff, doing all the documents and the reporting and also the monitoring. So we'd like to move forward with the request to retain Fuss O'Neill for the environmental consultant services for 35,460 with a 10% contingency of 3546 for a total request of $39,006. Funding is available in the capital project.
So when were you anticipating doing the water pipes replacement?
Well, we're hopeful that we can get it done this winter, maybe right after Christmas or so.
So this was all in last year's capital budget.
And it's actually this year's, we're just trying to put.
Sorry,
Yes.
This year's.
This year's, yes. So once we get the program figured out how we're actually gonna do this abatement and get the water piping and also the sewer, it's all at the same time done, the idea would be to run a lot of all the new piping first, extend it out to where it has to make the vertical rises, go in, do the abatement, and then we can switch right over. You know, we have a couple feet to go to tap it into the pipes going up through the walls. This way I'm looking at minimal downtime. Well, the new bathrooms all have new piping, new everything, so they won't be affected by this. So there'll always be bathrooms there. Some of the older bathrooms, a lot of these pipes all go to the kitchen, obviously. That's what we're looking at. So there's quite a bit of piping in the basement.
I'm sorry, I'm being a little slow on this one. So the project is we're replacing the water
Water,
pipes.
water pipes.
So it would be remedial
Domestic
here.
water pipes that are all in the basement that run throughout the basement as a network. Then they make the vertical change. to go
Because
up.
they're old. We're getting rid of them because
Yes.
they're like super duper old, right? And this is the abatement. This is actually not actually putting the pipes in. This is
It's just taking all the
asbestos.
asbestos off all the pipes.
Sure,
Yeah.
I'm following this.
This is actually the consultant for the
It- it's
abatement,
a-
not the abatement itself.
Yeah, not the abatement itself.
I know, it's.
Get the program going.
So the deliverables, Bill, what do we expect out of this? We're gonna get a report and they'll tell us how they're
How
gonna
you do it,
execute
yeah.
or?
They'll put together the whole plan, bid documents. There's quite a few vendors on the state contract who we've used before and everything that actually do very good work. We'll look at the state contracts and see if it's worth pursuing state or do we go out on our own. We'll decide that once we get the report.
Do they actually tell us like what the sizes of the pipes and all that stuff is supposed to be, all the valving and everything? Do they design all that, or is that what they do as well, or?
No, they're just doing basically the documentation of the actual asbestos removal that's required, and making sure that it's all done according to the state and EPA laws.
Wow.
Monitor the air quality and all that stuff once we get to the big report.
100+ old building that we haven't
That's it.
done anything to. Oh,
It's just
the-
hard because there's no pipes going in. It's just a report
Yeah.
for 35 grand.
39.
Oh, my gosh.
All right.
Does this need a contingency just to sound like Deanna here?
Yeah.
It's
okay.
Or is
appreciate
this
it,
just,
Amy.
you know,
Not
is
always-
this like come in and figure out, I mean, why
Yeah,
would,
why
we-
would it?
why would we need a contingency on an abatement report?
Administrative services through this also, there may be some needs from additional testing, maybe in an area that's maybe didn't get covered. We already did a lot of testing in the past. We're using all those documents and there may be additional testing. Also on the air quality testing, there may be some areas where if we find he feels that he needs to do additional air quality testing, I just want to have it built in there so we don't. slow
That's
the
during,
project.
that's during abatement.
that'd be during
So
abatement.
that's during abatement, that's the reason for the contingency is if there's
Yeah.
additional work during abatement,
During abatement.
during
Yeah,
abatement.
during
Yeah,
abatement.
for the consultant itself, not
Yeah.
the, you know, not the
But
abatement.
this is the
contractor.
report.
Yeah.
So this doesn't actually,
is-
this isn't actually the abatement.
No,
itself.
this isn't the abatement. So why would we need it?
Consultant services
During
during
the
the abatement. We actually,
Oh,
they'll,
okay.
they'll go through and do air quality monitoring and other testing while we're abating.
Okay, so they do the report and then
They
they
do the
also
report and
do
then
the
they
testing.
monitor.
Okay, so this is for both.
Kind of like with the
pieces, sorry.
PD.
Yeah,
we're
like
doing
the
with PD.
Project Management, they estimated at 20 hours,
Okay.
depending on what, you know, if you're allowed to go more, something like that. So we just want to have it covered.
All right. Any other questions? If I could get a motion to approve a request from the Department of Public Works to enter into a contract with Fussin O'Neill in the amount of $35,460 plus a contingency of $3,546 for a total cost of $39,006. Project entails design specification development, project monitoring and air sampling.
Second.
It's unanimous.
Can you guys remind me what's the projected cost of the actual pipe replacement?
We have,
Part of the capital project?
we have 200,000 for abatement and 300,000 for all the piping replacement. if I recall.
Is that happening this year?
That was,
Yeah.
it was in this year's capital
Yeah.
budget, and we're looking to do it this year.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
no.
correct.
That you can't see.
In a gross basement.
I just said.
$500,000.
$500,000 for pipes in a basement that you can't see. It's not like a sexy, hey, look at our new air conditioning, look at our new elevator.
We'll make them more pretty as we can.
Not sexy at all.
But you need, unfortunately, you do need them.
Yeah, you do
Because the
need
waste
pipes.
pipes are in this, involved in this
Yeah.
too, so.
It's nicer than it used to be down there. Look on the bright side, it's more cleaned out.
Past several years, we've put in all the electrical services into there. We've gotten rid of all the overhead power lines that used to go out by the parkways, all underground. We put new water service going up there, new meters. So we bought a lot of all the new services in the building after a very long time of trying to get there and working with utilities. So we're getting there little by little each year.
You know what's so great, Bill, is just have a list of this is what we've done. So people know, I mean, because, we all have to do this stuff at home. It's like, oh, great, I got a new oil tank, yay. But you do have to do it. And it would just be nice for people to understand after so many years, we haven't spent any money at Waveney, that we like to take pictures of it. We do have to keep it up. So.
I can work on that.
Yeah, and we've been down in the basement recently and, we looked at all those pipes and it's amazing. Everything's still working. I mean, it's old. So.
Yeah, there's been a lot of patchwork down there. I don't know if you noticed that, but there's a whole
we
side
had-
of the basement you can't see. Like when you walk down, it's all those little rooms off to the left.
Mhm.
And some of it actually goes a little bit into a cross space. So it's very interesting the way they built the place, let alone how they ran all those pipes. So,
All that linen stuff, that whole section to do the
Oh,
linens
yeah,
and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Crazy. All
Mm.
right.
All right.
the next one is their Irwin House building assessment with for approval to contract with Hoffman Architects and Engineers in the amount of $15,000 plus a contingency of $1,570 for a total cost of $17,270. This is a complete envelope assessment of roof and
Roofing.
the exterior.
Yep.
They're gonna produce a report for us, similar to what they've done for us in the past. They're very thorough.
Yeah.
And there's money in the budget to do this assessment. We actually plan on doing an assessment, so we'd like to get the assessment done and then send to you folks to see what you want to do.
This is hopefully so we don't have to spend $700,000 on a roof. Yeah.
But again, we continue with Irwin. We haven't decided what Irwin does, what
Yeah.
purpose it serves and stuff like that. So this, Hoffman did the report for Waveney in Latham, which is, so this is, they can't do a little better on the pricing. It's a much smaller building just than what they did. I'm sure it's their time to set up but you have to ask.
Does this include the entire building? Does it include any of the outbuildings like the barn or anything, or just this building?
No, it's
Garage, the
the
apartment.
garage with the apartment, all that. And they're actually, they have a subcontractor that they retained that they're gonna bring up there to do some roof cuts on there just to check the roof, what's underneath it and what needs to be done, if anything, to the roof.
I think this
Pretty thorough.
actually helps us get to your point.
Yeah.
Of what are we going to do with Irwin? It'll help us make a better decision as to, are we putting money into this? Are we not putting
Yep.
money into this? How much is it going to need?
Yeah, I mean, I was up at Irwin and just looking at the front of the building and how there's no gutter along the front of the roof and the water just pours down on top of
There's
the.
actually a gutter up there, but it's actually
it
the original
clogged?
wood type of gutters.
Oh, because
gutter?
it's literally pouring down on the windows and the bottom of the windowsills. in the
Yeah,
front of
no,
the
it's
building.
been rough. It's the building was went in service, I think, 1961.
Yeah,
They started
it's-
in 58 building it. So you start.
It's old.
Time goes by. That's not old. I mean, it's, because I remember the 60s.
Working,
care of
you've
it.
been taking care of it. It's
Wait,
different,
What year did you buy Irwin again? What year
I
was
think
it?
it was
years ago,
04,
right?
08,
04.
04 it was.
So imagine what you've done to your house since '04,
Yeah.
and we've done
No.
0 to this. I mean,
No.
Yeah.
Same with the barn,
Yeah.
so
thank you.
All right. There are no further questions. Could I get a motion to approve a request from the Department of Public Works to enter into a contract with Hoffman Architects and Engineers in the amount of $15,700 plus a contingency of $1,570 for a total cost of $17,270. The project entails a building envelope assessment of Irwin House.
So moved.
second.
It's unanimous. Thank
When do you think we'll get this report?
Uh,
2 months?
I don't, and hopefully we'll shorter that. I'll call him afterwards. He's
Ready to go?
He's ready to move on it because I spoke to him last week and we had a little delay, but that's okay. We'll
It's a
get.
regular question I have of Bill. When's the
The-
assessment getting done on Irwin?
Yeah.
Those drone pictures that they had of Waveney are really helpful, where you see all the different angles. So
Yeah,
hopefully
the
they'll have
technology is
some
pretty
of
cool.
those.
They're doing an awful lot with drones lately. It's
Definitely.
pretty cool.
All right, gas conversion at Nature Center.
So a request to enter in contract with CV Longo Mechanical for $18,400 plus a contingency of $1,840 for a total request of $20,240. This project entails the display and removal of the old equipment and the installation of a new gas-fired burner at the New Canaan Nature Center Visitor Center. So we got a couple quotes.
Wow, that was a big gap.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why, but they've both been reputable companies throughout the years for the town. Sometimes it just works out that way. And
Mr.
then and sometimes
Mechanical's
it'll be
been
other
here a
way.
lot and doesn't want to be here for a while.
Might
What?
be, could very well be.
We'll see another one here, I think, where it's the opposite. So,
Right.
you know,
So, you've got three of these, right? You've got the nature center, the train station and town hall, similar jobs. Did anybody bid all three? Like one massive,
I didn't want, if I,
because it would
I
seem
don't
like
want to
there'd be
combine all the
savings if they're
projects
here,
together.
you
I
know?
don't want to put them all together.
Yeah.
Because then we get into that whole prevailing rate issue.
Oh,
And these are
yes,
separate projects,
yes,
so that's
yes,
why we
yes,
treat them as
yes,
separate projects.
yes,
We don't
yes,
want to make one
yes,
project out of
yes,
this.
yes. Yep.
Usually bundling stuff like this does
yeah.
save money, but
You know, years
we-
ago,
yeah.
maybe, not so much nowadays. It doesn't seem like,
We did bid them out as like all on the same day so that they knew the package was there. So each
Yeah.
individual, so they could be,
could
you know,
figure
look
it
at it
out.
from that standpoint and say, okay, if I win all three, then I'm packaging them together. I'm coming here for a month and doing the
Yeah.
work. And as it turned out, CV Longo won 2 out of 3 and the Eastern Mechanical won the third. So
so what we're doing up at the Nature Center, we're almost there to get all the oil tanks out of the ground. We just took one out last week. We installed a propane tank up there. That's why we're going to convert this over. It'll be a lot more efficient, a lot cleaner. And we have the greenhouse that's on the books to try to figure out what we're going to do with that one, because that needs a new
Hopefully
furnace.
nothing until they figure out what they're doing with it.
Yeah, exactly. That's why we kind of stalled that one for the moment.
Okay.
The objective here was that we converted a lot of the buildings already to propane. In the future, should they decide to run natural gas up and into there, it's an easy conversion, just changing the orifice and everything be on natural gas. Propane is also it's cleaner, especially for a nature center.
Mhm.
And to get all those tanks out of the ground, I thought that was a pretty good idea. So we'd like to your approval to move forward with contracting CV Longo for $18,400 plus contingency of $1,840 for a total cost of $20,240.
So they bid on this exact same package, so we're not worried that one is half the price that we're getting different
No,
work. I just have
no.
to ask because you pointed that out, you know.
And so, when you took the oil tank out and they tested everything was
Clean. Yeah,
fine.
it was clean. Thank God. Yes, it was
Okay.
clean.
Okay, great. Any other questions? All right, if I could get motion to approve a request from the Department of Public Works to enter into contract with CV Longo Mechanical in the amount of $18,400 plus a contingency of $1,840 for a total project cost of $20,240. The project entails the supply and removal of old equipment and the installation of a new gas-fired burner at the New Canaan Visitor Center.
So-
Nature Center.
someone,
Second.
Thanks. It's unanimous. All right, train station boiler and gas conversion.
Just as a note, I did have another contractor come out who spent the whole day going around, looking at everything, going through the whole program of all these things. And he just fell off the planner on me. I reached out to him. He said he was going to bid it.
He ghosted you, man.
Yeah, it just, I don't know, it happens. So anyhow, just wanted to let you know.
But these are all noticed, right?
we're all, yes.
Yeah, they're all noticed. So anybody that is sort of in that world would be able to.
And this one here is like to the train station. So the trains, this is a request for CV Longo Mechanical in the amount of $32,565 plus a contingency of the $3,256.50 for a total cost of $35,821.50. This project, we're going to remove the actual furnace that's in there and actually install a new one. It's quite an interesting old version of a boiler in there. So we'd like to contract CV Longo to do this work. It also includes installing the gas line. We ran the gas line down into the property about a year ago or so. And so he has to pipe it now from the outside through the building. And we'll get rid of the oil tank inside there. And at some point, and then
The tank's inside the building.
tanks
No.
on the, yeah, it's on the inside of the building, yes.
Yeah.
The tank's on the inside of that building. That might be separate from this because it's more of environmental removal, not mechanical. So I'm looking into that now.
Hey, Bill, how are these bids coming in versus where you budgeted?
Oh, very well. They're all, yeah.
Under?
Yeah, no, they're all coming under, we're all, yeah, they're all coming under. So we're looking good to, not have to come back for anything.
Any thing the commuter should know, any downtime, any disturbance or anything?
No, I don't think it'd be a problem over there. If we get the approval today, they'll get this thing going and really, once they get going, they'll probably change it over in a day, I would imagine.
I mean, long.
They'll do all the prep work first.
They run smaller trucks and they don't have.
Yeah, no, it's a couple, it's a guy with 2 vans maybe, if that. Yeah, they'll get it in and out over there. Some of this work, just so you should know, is also being pushed by the DOT. It is their building. We're managing a lot of those projects for them. So,
Their building, we pay for it though. Couldn't help myself. I'm sorry.
but it's kind of an interesting relationship. So we are looking to do more work.
They tell us what to do and then we get to pay for it.
Just
So, little different.
They tell us what to do, then we have to have them come down to help us do the safety stuff. And where are you? And Metro North's involved, and it's
Job security.
It's never easy. So we do our best.
All right. Any other questions? If not, if I could get a motion to approve a request from the Department of Public Works to enter into a contract with CB Longo Mechanical in the amount of $32,565 plus a contingency of $3,256.50 for a total cost of $35,821.50. Don't put pennies on my contingencies anymore. The project entails the supply and removal of old equipment and the installation of a new gas-fired furnace at the train station.
So
It's unanimous. All right, town hall boiler conversion.
Okay, so this request from now Eastern Mechanical Service in the amount of $39,550 plus contingency of $39,555 for the total cost of $43,505. This project entails removing the burners and replace them with new power flame burners, dual fuel for the town hall. Eastern Mechanical was the lower bid on this one. So we were to get approval to contract Eastern Mechanical.
So did we put new burners in here when we renovated?
We did.
Oh, were we in renovation here?
Well, they probably installed the burners probably in 2013-ish, 14. We
Yeah.
opened up in 15. The burners are Roellas. They're Italian made. They come out of Canada. They stopped making them. They discontinued the commercial line. I've had nothing but problems with these. And I've had one down now for quite some time. Unfortunately, Roella makes a great residential one. The commercial, they just did horrible with. And every time we need part for these things, you just can't find them. We have to get them out of Canada. And when we went through the whole supply chain issue, I was waiting like 5 months for parts for one of them. I said, I just can't keep going out there, and they're not good.
Yes, it's kind of a bummer because, we put something in that was supposed to have a very long useful life. I mean, I know we're switching it out for other reasons, but again,
Yeah, it's a different relationship like the manufacturers have with each other. Like, Buderus makes the boiler and they had a relationship with Roella and they kind of give you that package deal. And then, Roella made Buderus look bad, I guess. It's just been a challenge.
but like the ones we're putting in, what do we expect the useful life of these?
You'll get 20+ years out of these. Are power flames. Parts are all over the place for these. They, one of the main warehouses right here in Bridgeport. They're easy to work on. Any service guys probably worked on those when training because they're just all over the place and they've been proven forever.
We're going from Roella to Power Flame,
Power flame, yeah.
and it's an American made.
Yeah, they're just a proven burner that I always say when we're doing any kind of project, put a power flame in because I know everybody knows it doesn't work on them.
So for this one, like for the town hall, what did you budget for this? And then where did you, when?
I think we budgeted 50, I think. I have to go back to home, I think it was 50.
Yeah. You know, to the extent, and when we do this, if you have a budget item in, just in the future, it'd be good to know that we budgeted this much and it's where they came in. I just think it'd be helpful for us to.
Sure.
And
can add
believe me, I
that.
understand that you're gonna budget a bit conservatively because you don't want to have to,
Mhm.
you know, but you just be.
Yeah, it's almost a year ahead of time, but we budget.
Yeah, no, and that makes sense. I'd just be curious to see where we are coming in versus where we budgeted. So, and we promise we won't say, you can't budget that.
Just a question on,
Down there, just like the budget or something, that's not a big deal.
You would never do that.
question on the decision for, here we're in the town hall, we're doing dual fuel and the other two we're doing gas only. And the difference between, I know they're different sized buildings and everything, but you've got 39.5 for town hall, 32.5 for train station, for $7,000. Are we selling ourselves short that we shouldn't be putting?
No,
doing
two
dual
different
fuel?
things. Train station's getting a putting a furnace and everything.
Okay.
And we don't feel that dual fuel for such a small building.
Yeah.
Worth it.
That seemed like a lot of money for the train station. It's a little tiny building. To
It
compare
is,
that
actually,
number with-
you're surprised the size of unit they have in there. They have, I think, 8
It's not
tons
big
of air
enough.
conditioning. And so the burner has to keep up with it.
Yeah.
The town hall dual fuel is because we still have a 6,000 gallon tank out here that still has a lot of useful life left into it, pumps everything in there. And the delta between going from regular natural gas to dual fuel was only about, I don't know, $4,000 or $5,000. And I said, then let's just do that. We have dual fuel over at Lapham Community Center
Well,
because
if you get a spike in one or the other energy sources, you can.
you can
rely on
always switch around. I mean, Eversource has some, rules and regulations about all that, but something, we got to keep the building heated. And if there's a problem with gas, we're going to switch over to oil.
it. Thank you.
Okay. So if I could get a motion to approve a request from Department of Public Works to enter into a contract with Eastern Mechanical Services in the amount of $39,550 plus a contingency of $3,955 for a total cost of $43,505. The project entails the supply and removal of existing burner and the installation of 2 new dual fuel units at Town Hall.
Second.
It's unanimous. All right, Parks Garage Painting Project.
We went out to bid for these and 2 projects, actually. So we have asking request approval to enter in contract with Aladdin Services in the amount of $14,700 plus contingency of $2,940 for the total cost of $17,640. This is just as pretty straightforward exterior scrape and paint. The whole outside the building, it needs it. I don't think it's been done since we built it, to be honest with you. So
So the second one that came in more than double, but it does talk about replacements and improvements that weren't in the RFP. So does this need work that we're not doing and we're just painting over
okay,
it?
so let me explain that. So we have the next up on the agenda will be for the roof project. In the roofing project, I had all the repairs and stuff in there that the building needed and asked for the numbers in that. This gentleman came out, he confused everything, didn't read the documents properly, and he bidded it wrong.
Got
So you'll do the second item on this first.
Overall repair. So in the perfect world, we're gonna start from the top down, right? We're gonna do the roof, do the repairs, guy's gonna come in and paint it.
That would be good.
All right, thanks.
All right. Any other questions?
No, Len does
All
great
right,
work.
so if I could get a motion to a motion to approve a request from the Department of Public Works to enter into a contract with Aladdin Services in the amount of $14,700 plus a contingency of $2,940 for a total cost of $17,640. The project entails the painting of Park Maintenance Garage.
Second.
It's unanimous.
What color are you painting? Okay.
He wants to pick a color, have at it, but
Don't
not
open
picking-
that up.
I don't see
Don't
colors
open
well. You
that
don't want me picking colors. My wife will vouch for that one.
Hot pink, I think, right?
Right. The next item is a request to contract with the J. Antonelli Roofing in the amount of $54,050 plus a contingency of $10,810 for a total cost of $64,860. Now, this project includes a whole new roofing system, ripping off the old shingles, all new flashing, new weather watch in the valleys and the eaves. doing the repairs. There's some wood rot that we identified on there. He also gave us a certain amount that's covered in that 54,000, but then also a unit pricing should we discover stuff that we can't see right at the moment. There's some lighting that's underneath the soffit in front of the doors that they're just rotted out. So we like to replace those with LEDs and add one actually over the man door because it's dark there. Antonelli came in at 54,050. Robert Turner bills came in at 52,400, which on the front looks like it's less money, but again, he did not include all the wood repairs. So he had them all backwards. So I can't.
Is this like a new company and they've just?
This
not
is a
used
new
to-
company. They've been requesting to come, bid
Yeah.
stuff. I met with them. They're a nice family business in Wilton. But unfortunately, he called, he wanted to know if I can, change things around. I can't.
Yeah, it's a public bid.
It's written exactly in the document what we want it, and then we reviewed everything. So unfortunately, this is where we are.
He'll get it
Yeah,
eventually.
exactly.
I don't discourage him. I said,
Yeah.
please, there's plenty more work out there, and I don't know if he's gonna come back, because he did meet me on another project, and I haven't seen anything from him on that one, so I don't know. I don't ever try to discourage anybody and promote
Yeah.
more people to come in,
Good
but
thing.
also more and more companies getting really selective about what they'll do and don't do these days. It's crazy. I can't get somebody to come do, we're out to bid now. We did a walkthrough on all our oil burners and air conditioning equipment for maintenance coming up. And two guys said, well, we don't touch anything that has to do with oil. Don't bid the oil portion of it. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, so they're getting really fussy about what they do. Just as an example. So we'd like to request to contract Antonelli for the 54,050 plus a contingency of 10,810 for the total project of 64,860.
Okay, since Bill just read that, I'm just gonna ask for a motion to approve that.
Second.
It's unanimous. Thank you.
On that wood repair, are we using like the new AZAC when we replace wood, or are we doing wood still?
I said we can use AZAC, but I have to see the area they want to use it in, because AZAC can be a little tricky.
But it'll last for.
Well, it'll last, and it'll last as long as you install it properly, and it requires a lot more fastening. So I'm not a big fan of big square footage areas. I don't mind the 1x6, 1x8, strip for fascia boards, as long as they hit every stud on it. We'll see about doing anything that has to go underneath the soft and stuff. I'll see. There's other materials that are
I don't want to
that
get
are
into
suited for that. So they got some give me submittals and everything, and then we'll have discussions about what we're replacing it with. So
Okay,
okay, well, thank you very much.
thank you. Anne. Is
I
that
got the
Ann?
first one.
Oh,
No,
did you wanna
sorry.
add this one?
Sorry, I saw your name down. I missed the first. Travel expense
did.
approvals.
Yeah, at the end.
Did they?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Emergency.
Yes, I wrote it there and I missed it. Sorry. Thank you, Tucker. So, sorry, the emergency repair.
Oh, you want to do the emergency?
Yeah, I
Oh,
put it, I
perfect.
forgot to,
Perfect.
I forgot to.
That's great, thank you. Just want to add it, so. Right, so this is, has to do with, the wastewater treatment plant. Several weeks back, I believe in front of you, we had to rent a generator. The big generator had a mechanical issue. We had Stewart Stevenson Power, also known as, Detroit generator, Detroit diesel. Yeah, and it's a diesel, it's a Detroit engine in there, so that's why we had them come down. And the repair, they opened it up, and they found that there was a problem with the valve guides, needed a new head, so we ordered new parts, got them up here, took the heads off and discovered that one of the cylinders was damaged pretty bad. So we built one of the cylinders. So the total parts and labor, we don't need no contingency on this because this was all done on emergency repairs, was 28,438.23. This was approved on an emergency basis by the first selectman, and
That's not the number we have, Bill.
Yeah, we
25.
25,000.
25,852.93. Sorry about that. So we'd like to, I guess, ratify the emergency contract by recommending that the contract be awarded to Stewart Stevenson Power for the 25,852.93 with no contingency.
Because we already.
And these
paid.
funds are contingent upon the Board of Finance doing a transfer tonight from the sewer reserves to the operating side.
This is already done, right?
Yes, it's already done. The rental went away, thank
Right.
God. We didn't have to pay no extra on that.
Mhm.
And the unit sounds great. They did a fantastic job. It sounds really good. They tuned it all up and everything. It's
So do we have an idea of what's our useful life on this generator? After
generators, this is indoors, which is great. And you can get 40 years out of these generators.
How old was it?
This generator was put in when you did it,
25.
in 25 years.
25,
Alright.
26 years
Yeah.
old. So it was in its best interest to actually
Get
do
this
this
overall.
repair.
Yeah.
To do this repair.
Yeah,
Like brand new.
to $250,000 easy to replace that one.
Yes,
And
that's a
maybe
good investment.
15 or so years from now, there'll be better technology out there with, who knows, right? Fuel cells technology and all that sorts of stuff. So we'll see.
Any questions?
Nope.
Great.
All right, if not, if I could get a motion to approve as part of the town's building management improvement program for a emergency motor repair for the generator at the wastewater treatment plant control building. $25,852.93 to Stuart Stevenson Power.
So moved.
Second.
It's unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now travel expenses. Sorry about that.
So this first one that Lou and Jimmy are here. Lou, you can come on if you want. So this is actually for overnight travel and attendance at the APWA New England Expo 2024 in Marlborough, Mass, September 18th and 19th. Lou's going to go up, spend the night, and then come back. Mose is actually going to attend with him. Mose is going to pay for his travel, and then he's going to walk Lou through and meet all the vendors and what have you, is try to help kind of facilitate, Lou's entrance into the management of the highway department. So overall, the hotel's approximately $225. I put $225 for food only just because it was $225, but I don't expect them to spend that much money, except for the fact that you got to go out to dinner.
Looked at me in a while.
Right. Yeah. But it's just one night.
Does that,
Go up in
does
the-
that work for you one night?
go up in the morning, stay the night, then the next day, and then come back.
Okay.
Basically, the way it'll work, and Mose will do the same. So the total is 425, and then I put a not to exceed of 500. That's basically about $425 to go. It's an excellent event. It's perfect for Lou to go. Mose has gone every year and has seen things and talked to people and seen different technologies and stuff like that. So it's an excellent event, and I feel strongly Lou should go. I think it's a good segue and entrance into his new role.
And no travel expense because you use a town car? I mean, because there are other expenses. I just don't want to, I don't know if you're out of pocket for,
Haven't looked at that as
yeah,
far as the
that's-
per diem, as far as
not be an expense for you to travel up and back.
if he takes his own vehicle, then it would be a mileage reimbursement at that
Just want to
point.
make sure.
Okay. Any other questions?
Have fun.
You want to do these
All
one
right.
at a time?
This is actually my third time going, but so it's very beneficial. And Mosey's on his farewell tour, so I figured I'd try.
It'd be a pretty good tour.
What happens in Marlboro stays in Marlboro.
You need to vote on it.
Huh?
You need to vote.
Yeah. No, I'm not
All
leaving
right.
until they say, then I can say thank you.
So we'll just get all three of them, or, yeah, why don't we do all three of them at the same time?
So you have two of us?
Diane and I. So in the budget process, we talked about 1 year, we would go on the national GFOA and then the off years go locally. So we always go on the Connecticut GFOA. This is a New England state GFOA that Diane and I are going to go to. It's a 3-day conference. It has topics from cash management, fraud, bonding. Moody's is going to be there. Best practices in vendor supplies, because there has been, as you know, a lot of problems with hacking in terms of getting into systems and town sending out money that doesn't belong to that vendor. So we're trying to make sure that. So Diane and I are looking to go to that one, which is it's more local. It's up in Mystic that we can drive to. So there's no flights. So this year we don't expect to go to the national, but one of the presenters is actually Lunda. He is now going to be
Oh.
the president of the national GFOA.
Wow.
So he's going to present to this New England one to try and get more of us to go take the CPFO exams to get a different certification. So thought that was interesting. So he'll be at that. So looking for approval on that.
Okay. All right.
How many days is that?
It's actually starts Sunday and Sunday through Wednesday. Diana's leaving. She's coming back Tuesday. I'm staying till Wednesday because what they're trying to do is get finance directors involved in all aspects of departments that are under them. So a lot of towns have tax and assessor. So on Wednesday, they're doing like a 101 on tax and assessment. And I want to just get refreshers on that so that finance directors have an idea of what those departments actually do and what's required. But Diane will be back in the office Wednesday and I'm staying for that.
Cool. All right. If there are no further questions, if I could get a motion to approve the following requests for employee travel expenses. Public Works, Lou. Say it again. Boyce. I'll get it one of these days. Okay, Lou Boyce, $500, New England APWA Expo, and the Finance Department, Ann Kelly Lenz and Diane Wilson, $1,800 for GFOA Bulk Annual Conference.
So moved.
It's unanimous. Thank you, everybody.
Bring back some good ideas,
Yes,
guys.
exactly. And everybody in one piece.
It did
What's that?
answer to 17 feet, just no, that matters. They have
Oh,
980 and 800, right? And this is, that's not a big
Yeah,
deal.
might as well.
980, so it's 1780, and we said 18. Excuse me, I'm just letting you know.
okay. All right, purchase orders.
So these are the purchase orders for the Board of Ed that the town handles from a payment processing standpoint. There's two types. There's transportation, which is the first one, New Canaan Country School. And Sean will address the reasons why we pay this out. The second one for New Canaan Country School is the medical and nursing that we're required to supply. In addition to St. Luke's Schools gets the same nursing and medical services that we have to apply. St. Luke's does not ask for reimbursement on the transportation side of it, just New Canaan Country School. So Sean can talk to why the statutes are the way they are.
Good morning.
Morning.
So the separate statutes for transportation and health, but both are essentially the same, that would provide for health services. Same health services that we provide to our public schools would be provided to non-public schools within the town of New Canaan, within the municipality. Health, same thing. It's basically comprised of medical services, cost of a nurse, salary and benefits, and maybe some supplies.
So we take on the full charge of the nurse, like it's not based on our students being at that school. So like Country School has predominantly New Canaan, but a lot of other communities, but St. Luke's, as I understand, is predominantly not New Canaan students now. So are we taking on the full cost of that nurse at that school?
It's the full cost of one nurse at that school.
So do we get any bill back? Do we have any ability to bill back other communities for that nurse who have students at that school? So Stanford and Westchester.
No, I mean, essentially, the requirement is that greater than 50% of the student body must be Connecticut residents, not.
Oh, just
New Canaan.
Connecticut.
Connecticut.
And so the town where the school exists has to pay for it regardless of whether they're residents of that community or not.
That's interesting.
It's local, but it's Connecticut.
Wow.
Yeah, it's Connecticut residents. I mean, I recently was responding to a parent, a New Canaan resident who sends their kids to Greenwich Country Day. I was looking for transportation and said, we don't provide it, only if the school is within the, the town.
Right, because we don't provide it for, New Canaan Country School gets the busing for New Canaan students to
Correct.
New Canaan Country
That's
Day.
correct.
If you're from Darien, you have to find your own transportation
Exactly.
and. Okay.
Exactly.
It is very interesting
Yeah.
though, that is, if you're hosting
An
a regional school, which is a private school that people are paying money for, that the taxpayers of the town who support their own public education have to underwrite the healthcare expense. That's interesting.
When I was in Greenwich, Greenwich Country Day, being on the border with New York,
Mhm.
they struggled to get to that 50%. And in some years they didn't. They were
Right.
at 48, 49%. They didn't get reimbursed.
So what is St. Luke's local
Well,
numbers?
it's Connecticut number. It's not
Oh,
local, it's Connecticut.
Right. Thank you.
Both St. Luke's and New Canaan Country Day. greater than
So is that
50%.
line item, the 121,000, 118,000, is that basically the all-in cost of a nurse? Is that what we're paying for? Is that basically the expense?
Health and benefits.
And some supplies.
Yeah, okay.
And that 280 for the transportation, are those like regular sized school buses that are going up there, or is that, or it's
We
just-
don't provide transportation.
so they just get a stipend for whatever they want to do?
They're getting, it's based on the transportation cost per student in the public schools, which
Yeah.
is about $1,400.
Okay.
Yeah, they submit a roster to me every
Okay.
year. And then we take the contract, the school contract, and basically do the math to reimburse them for
So it's
that,
just a straight calculation based on per pupil kind of,
basically.
yeah.
So it
okay.
could actually cost them more than we're paying,
We're true.
right?
Yeah, 'cause
If we've got it, because we have more kids, better deal.
Yeah.
So remember that we have students who are also going to schools in other towns that are getting the benefit of the nurses in the other towns.
That's
that
true.
We didn't have to pay
Right.
for.
But we have no control over the contracts.
We don't.
That's right.
No,
That's
we have
correct.
no control over the
Common theme
contracts.
around here.
Yeah. It's like,
Jeez.
we pay the bill, we have no control over the contract.
Jeez. Okay. All right.
I'd point out on the school transportation piece is that it went up substantially when the school start times changed because the contract went up.
That's
And
right.
that was across the board, yeah,
Oh, yeah.
public and private.
Did they change their start times? Did the country
Public schools?
school? Did change?
Oh, I think they always kept, theirs was always like an 8 o'clock start, I think.
Well, there you go.
Well, it's a mandate, so, does anybody have any questions?
Nope.
All right, if I could get a motion to approve a request from the finance department to approve the following FY 25 purchase orders related to state statute mandated school transportation and school nurse reimbursement expenses at private schools. New Canaan Country School, $280,000 for transportation. New Canaan Country School, $121,000 for nursing. St. Luke's School, $118,000 for medical nursing.
So moved.
Second.
It's unanimous.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right, full-time employees.
I'm gonna take my nursing degree.
It's less stressful. You don't have to worry about hacked all the time.
Or
But
hack
think about
on.
them during COVID.
Okay, we are here to present first Matt Bulan. We have a new position that was budgeted this year in the IT budget for a junior systems admin. Matt actually worked for the New Canaan Board of Ed. He was an IT support staff for 3 years. He did 3 summers. Then he went to North Haven and then moved to Florida and worked in Broward County. He has his bachelor's degree in graphic design. He is very good at troubleshooting and software, hardware issues. He works well with staff and has a lot of knowledge of Windows, Mac, and iOS issues. We had 31 applications. We did 8 interviews, and Matt rose right to the top. So we would like to recommend.
We
hiring
had
Matt.
like, did you work with Matt when he was working at the Board of Ed?
I did not. He worked the summers, so he would actually go through all the schools during the summer with the other staff.
Oh,
So it was,
okay.
he did a part-time and then, I think he did the last almost 3/4 of a year before he moved to Florida. Something like that. But Victor knows of him.
Okay.
We also vetted him through the Board of Ed, talking to
Okay.
their staff over there and their admins.
What I wanted to hear.
Yeah. I wouldn't, and
Yes, references checked out very well.
he's very aggressive. He's young. He's got a lot of Victor in him, which is going to be great. More of that agitation in our office, which we like to have. Turn it upside down.
Yes, I was gonna ask that junior systems administrator, that what exactly is he gonna be doing on the job?
He's going to take a lot of load off of the help desk starting off, and that's kind of what he does now in Broward. From there, we're going to introduce him to everything that we do, from the PD to the town hall to the fire department, all of that. So he'll know all the buildings, and he'll be doing all the running around, the things that we normally check on.
That's a great thing about how you do it, Chris. I mean, all of you guys are cross-trained to everything. I mean, it's like,
We have to be. We don't know who's gonna have to come down here in the middle of the night, and that's what we've always lived by. And it's served us well. It really has. He's green and someone will have to follow down, but he's in Monroe, so we're going up the line. So he's second in line. But we're very excited. And he knows the area already. So he's well versed in New
He's
Canaan.
not Rick Buellen's son, is he? Our hockey
Uh-huh.
coach? The girls' hockey coach?
I don't know. I can find out. I don't play favoritism.
Well, kind of cool, actually.
But he's very excited to get back here. So awesome.
All right. And the next individual is Adrian Vitti. We had 101 applications for this position. We interviewed 14. Adrian was an administrative assistant to many different organizations. She has worked in customer service, worked in sales, was a project manager. She worked for the town of Richfield in the tax collector's office. She has her BS in marketing, and her references were amazing, and she rose right to the top. So we would like to recommend Adrian starting in the town clerk's office.
did you say 101 applications? That's unbelievable.
Wow. And she's coming from Ridgefield.
She worked in Richfield many years ago.
Oh, okay. So that's not her most recent.
That's not her most
Okay.
recent.
Okay.
And
But she lives in Ridgefield, so.
Claudia, she was, and Claudia was in on all the interviews, and we did 2 sets of interviews, and I think she will fit very well down there.
Great. Very nice.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Any other questions?
And everybody's salaries coming in with what we budget within?
Yes,
like
within
range?
budget, absolutely.
Great.
All right. If there are no further questions, if I could get a motion to approve a request from the Human Resources Department to hire for the following positions. Matthew Boulan, Information Technology Department, Junior Systems Administrator, and Adrian Vitti, Town Clerk Administrative Assistant.
So moved.
Second.
It's unanimous.
Thank
you
you.
very much. Tree Warden.
Yeah. For the tree warden at the end. Good morning again. So this is for the tree warden's August 22nd bid. We went out to our standard set of bidders. We received 3 bids back. This is for 12 separate locations in town. The only one or 2 of note are there's one along Lapham Road near the Waveney exit, removing a dead ash tree, and then the couple of trees we talked about on the trail system itself. The rest are sporadic throughout town. The majority of them are all just either dead ashes, dead beeches. We're seeing the ashes are declining, and so we're having a lot of ash removal, but now we're seeing a lot more beech decline as well, which is unfortunate. So Olmsted came in at the low bid at $17,380. They've done good work for us in the past, and we'd like to hire them to do this stretch of work. And the funds are available. Sorry.
I think we might have asked this, so if I repeat myself, we do a lot of stump grinding, and I think it's dangerous work, or just, I mean, is this something we should ever consider getting? And again, it might be just too dangerous to do, but it's expensive, and I don't know what a stump grinder costs, and we certainly have the trucks that could pull it, which means somebody has to do it. But if we went through this before, I apologize.
Very dangerous work. So yeah.
All right, so there we
I
go.
would
That's the answer.
recommend that we like to hire out for this. I would want to do it with our staff. Yeah, it's also a thing where you've got to use that machine all the time. You wouldn't want to be doing sporadic work with it. So you want to stay with that machine and then be fluent in it all the time. You wouldn't want to put it down and pick it back up again. It's not like a leaf blower or something like that. That's so. No, we only stump grind the stumps that are basically in the right of way that are visible. So if it's in a manicured lawn, we take the tree down, then we'll grind the stump and then have it reseeded. If it's in a grove of trees or it's in an area that's unkept, or say it has a lot of understory where you necessarily wouldn't see the stump, then we leave the stump. So so it's not every single tree, but it's based upon location.
I'll try not to ask again.
That's
'Cause
okay.
I remember
No.
talking about this, but it's just like a lot of these line items were stump grinding.
Yeah.
In this one, not that they always are.
I mean, of all the things that we approve, that like when I look at this $17,000 to take down what amounts to almost 20 plus trees.
That's a
and
bargain.
grind, I mean, the value is definitely there. That's a lot of work. So.
Yeah. All right. no further questions. I'll ask for a motion to approve a request from the tree warden to enter into a contract with Olmsted Tree and Shrub Care in the amount of $17,380. The project entails the removal, pruning, and stump removal of various trees in town.
So moved.
Second.
It's unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, you have on your tablets the contracts under 10,000. Anyone have any questions about any of these?
The only one I have, Deanna, just in terms of your $10,000 and over, look, see, the Tri-County Contractor Supply, there's two of those on those, which are about $5,000. So
Yep.
we're not expecting any more from these guys.
You know what, if they go over the PO that they initially
come.
put in.
Yeah.
So if there was a PO for over, if we approved as a board a $50,000 tri-county, they would only come to us after 50.
Okay, all right.
But they would have had to cut for $50,000, it would have had to come here first.
Okay, got it.
So
Thank
we
you.
would have approved it.
Yeah.
So these people haven't, either
Haven't tipped the.
haven't gone over what their original
All right,
PO
thank
that
you,
we have.
thank
Yeah, so that's how that's working. But we're all managing through that this
Mm-hmm.
year still. Okay, any other questions?
Just a note that the Waveney has first floor bathroom counter replacements in there. So we talked about that earlier, but
Yeah.
it's not a big item, but
Yeah.
$2,500.
I can't remember why it had to be replaced.
That's good.
Yeah. Yeah. It was the first floor though. That's
Yeah,
right.
first floor.
It's first floor.
Yeah.
That's right.
All right.
Okay. And then we have the tax overpayments. Any questions?
No, it's normal.
All right, if I could get a motion to approve refunds in the amount of $7,580.33 in tax overpayments.
So moved.
Second.
It's unanimous. All right. We also then have, I'm assuming both of you knew that we had two members of the Planning and Zoning Commission, Art Cassavant and Kent Turner, resign recently. And so we are moving up Tom Benton and Eric Knowles, or hoping to move them up today as regular members. They're both alternate members currently for 3-year terms ending December 1st, 2026. I've been watching a lot of recent planning and zoning meetings, just was rewatching something this morning. And they've both been good contributors and participants. So I'm happy with both of them being moved up. Great.
Agree.
Okay, if I could get a motion to approve the appointment of Tom Benton and Eric Knowles as regular members for 3-year term ending December 1st, 2026 to the Planning and Zoning Commission.
So moved.
Second.
It's unanimous.
And just while on that subject, I mean, Art Cassavant
Oh,
and Ken Turner, I mean, those two guys have served this town for so long, and Kent's been on forever, but
Over 20 years.
the amount of work and the amount of hours that those two, just think about combining those two guys, how many hours they've worked together to get things through planning and zoning. And it's just amazing. And, Amy, you say it all the time. We're so fortunate to have people in this town that are as skilled and as valuable and knowledgeable as these guys. So,
And willing to
willing
put
to
the time in,
serve. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they both deserve our gratitude and thanks. The entire town should thank them. So for all the work they've done.
Agreed.
I always say it's the hardest working board in New Canaan.
Oh, brutal.
By far,
Yeah.
by far. Selectmen comments. Well, tomorrow is September 11th, so I would like to invite anyone in the community who would like to pay their respects tomorrow morning at 9:59, I guess. We will be having a brief ceremony outside of Town Hall. And also would like to just thank the Conservation Commission, Tiger, Chris Shipper, Kevin Moynihan for sort of all the work that was done to make Bristow Centennial Celebration. Oh, and Keith Simpson. I'm going to forget somebody for all the work they did to make that Centennial Restoration Project such a success. It was a beautiful day on Sunday, recognizing their efforts. I have to say it was wonderful for me personally to see Gwyneth Walker come back into town. She's an amazing composer, so and did some beautiful work for that event. So it was just a great, again, New Canaan event. I think there were over 200, there were 200 people registered. I think they cut off registration at 200. So it
Yeah,
was,
all three of us were lucky to be there. And
Yeah.
it's, you go to an event like that and you literally say to yourself, only in New Canaan. I mean, only in New Canaan could you have, and as Chris said, a 3-ring circus that honors so many people in so many areas of that park. And especially what hit me the most was the last part of that 3-ring circus where they released all the
Injured
birds.
birds, yeah.
Yeah, that was really, really a cool moment.
Yeah, people should try to go and walk through Bristol. You can't believe it's next to the trains.
Yeah.
It's like this oasis.
Yeah, the music was playing and they were reading poems, and you'd actually hear birds chirping during the music. It was just a beautiful day, a beautiful ceremony. Chris really did an amazing job putting that all together. So
Yeah.
thanks again. And Tiger's here. Tiger did an amazing amount of work getting everything ready to hit that date. So thank you, Tiger.
and it was nice to see the next generation of Carlses be around the statue that will hopefully last longer than the first statue.
Watch
That
out,
was-
we're gonna get them on boards. Forewarned.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone. If I could get a motion to adjourn.
Second.
It's unanimous.
Thanks.
Thank you.